everybody, it's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, and this is where I teach you how to love your life and lose the weight. In my video today, I want to talk about stress eating, and I'm very familiar with this because I trained myself to eat emotionally a very long time ago, and one of my biggest triggers is stress. And what used to happen to me was that I would grab a handful of something in the morning when it was chaotic and my kids were melting down. And then what would happen is that once I gave in to that, it was hard for me to recover from it. I tended to say, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to keep eating all day and then I'll start tomorrow. So giving into that stress and that stress eating early in the day turns on something that I like to call the Binge Beast. And once the Binge Beast gets turned on, it's really hard to shut it down. So in the video today, I want to give you 4 tips so that you can get a hold of your stress eating and tame the Binge Beast. So the worst part about stress eating is not the calories, the extra calories. The problem is the psychological toll that it takes on you. It's the mental weight that it creates. So once you start stress eating and then you feel like you can't stop and then you get on a roll and then you say, I'll start tomorrow, what happens is that turns on your inner critic. And so all you hear in your head is, what is wrong with you? Why can't you just stop eating? Why can't you just have some more willpower? And really and truly, you are in control, but that stress eating and continuing throughout the day brainwashes you to believe that you don't have any control, and there's nothing further from the truth. So the mental weight that you're creating by hearing your inner critic and listening to that on full blast all day is creating a tendency for you to eat emotionally. So you start, you feel like you can't stop, you hear what a failure you are in your head, that creates emotional stress, and then it's pushing you to keep doing it throughout the day. So what you're doing is you're getting into this negative downward spiral of stress eating, hearing your inner critic, feeling that emotional stress in addition to all the other stress you're responding to, and then you get into that downward spiral that is really hard, it feels like, to get out of. So what happens when you create all of this mental weight is that it's creating emotional weight. In addition to the stress that you're dealing with in your environment, you're creating emotional stress that is pushing you to keep stress eating. So you can see very easily how this creates a negative spiral. You stress eat in response to what's around you. Then you feel like you're a failure. You're hearing your inner critic tell you what a loser you are. That creates emotional stress, and it's going to keep pushing you to eat and stress eat. So now I want to give you 4 great tips that I use all the time so that you can tame your binge beast and get a handle on your emotional stress eating. Tip number 1 is to remove yourself from the environment. Obviously, if there's something around you that's causing you stress, you need to get out of that before you just mindlessly grab something and shove it in your mouth. So if your family is freaking out, or if the dogs are barking, or your kitchen looks like a bomb went off, stop for a moment, remove yourself from the environment, and then you can be mindful and make a conscious choice. Tip number 2 is to ask yourself questions. Once you have removed yourself from the environment, figure out why you are feeling stressed in the first place. That will help you mitigate the stress in the future. And also ask yourself, what is making me want to grab this particular food? And why am I doing this? And most importantly, do I even want to do that? So the answer to that question might be, no, I don't really want that, and I'm not going to eat it. However, if you do really want to eat whatever it was that you were about to grab, sit down and eat mindfully. Make it an event. Put it on a pretty plate. Just don't shove anything in your mouth mindlessly. Tip number 3 is to clean up your environment. If you're in your kitchen and it's a wreck and that's what's making you stressed, then you need to clean it up and make it a place where it's mostly stress-free. So studies show over and over and over again the absolute critical importance of your environment and how it affects the choices that you're making every day. It has a powerful effect on everything that you do, whether you realize it or not. So if your environment is a stressful environment, if there's laundry everywhere, if your kitchen looks like a bomb went off, you need to clean it up. Cleaning up your environment reduces so much stress, unnecessary stress. And also you can put systems in place for the future so that the stress doesn't happen again. Tip number 4 is to do some training to override that urge to eat. And to be very clear here, I'm not talking about starving yourself or not eating when you're hungry. What I'm talking about is that if you're a stress eater like me, you have a tendency to just have that urge and to grab something to eat. So you can train yourself to push through that. So in addition to doing the other 3 tips, try also when that urge to eat strikes, when you're not really hungry, try waiting 5 or 10 minutes before you eat something. So to wrap this one up, I want you to know that it's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. I say this all the time, but one of the most deadly things that you can do and totally sabotage every effort that you're making to make healthy, positive changes is to think that there's something wrong with you or to feel ashamed of your behaviors. So I get it. It's not you. And hopefully you can use these 4 tips so that you can learn how to manage your stress eating and then for sure tame your own binge beast. I hope this video helped you, and if you have not already signed up for my weekly newsletter, please head over to my website at Camille Martin RD and get on my list so I can give you more tips, inspiration, and motivation just like this every week in your inbox. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you here next time on Love to Lose.